You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
We're live on YouTube and we're live on Instagram. Joining me now, of course, is Jackie Ray as we go beyond the box score. Jackie Ray, it's good to see you. How are you?
I'm tired watching you.
Why are you tired?
I was sweating just watching you. I was like, dang, I got to get my push-up life together.
For those who don't know, last segment, if you're just tuning in, long story short, I said I could do a one-arm push-up. And we had video of it, of course, if you're watching YouTube. And I did, according to some people, I did 11. According to others, I did 12 one-arm push-ups. And I said I was inspired by Rocky years and years ago, and I put it in my training regimen. But I hadn't done it in I don't know how many years, actually. Not recently.
Well done.
I'm not going to lie.
Well done.
Anyhow, but as we talk about sports and physical fitness, things of that note, Bill Belichick, former Patriots, New England Patriots head coach. Now he is the head coach of the UNC football team, North Carolina, Chapel Hill. He has a girlfriend, 1/3 his age. I think he's 72. She's 24, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
She has taken center stage as far as everything they do. He had a recent sit-down interview. She had jumped in and said, we're not going to answer that question about how they met. She's still entering pageants, beauty pageants. She just came in 3rd in Miss Maine. Let me take a step back. What do you make of her public profile in their relationship?
I think what I find interesting about this whole situation is, to me, this is my personal opinion. I have to preface this because this might sting a little bit. Ooh. But Bill Belichick's girlfriend and Shannon Sharpe's accuser, same girl, different packaging. I think they've intentionally targeted men that are well off, that they feel like they can have a come up. Now, I think Bill Belichick is...
You're blaming the woman?
Listen, I'm not blaming anyone because it's a plan. So who am I blaming? If you execute your plan well,
I have to
can
jump
I
in there.
blame you?
Are you saying that it's not true love between Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson?
Listen.
You're saying that she
It's not
looked
gonna
the
get dark
whole
enough
world
in that
over for a 72-year-old who would just love her for who she is
I
and
can
end
just
up with
see her
Bill?
at 7 years old going, I can't wait until I date a man that has more in common with my grandfather than he does with me.
But if both people are eyes wide open going into that relationship, and Bill Belichick, I would believe, is a smart individual on and off the field. He's at an age, I don't think that he says that or believes in his mind that woman wants him for his body as opposed to his money, status, and stature.
You would hope not, but you don't know the egos of some people. But I think the more concerning part of this situation is that she is controlling a lot of his social media or public presence.
All of it.
And that's a problem to me because it's a doorway. If you can manipulate this side of him, then eventually you can manipulate another. And she's positioned herself to be like, oh, I am the social media influencer. You do need me to do this, even though she came in 3rd and only had 200 votes in that pageant. But that's none of my business. I'm just telling you how many votes she got. But she's positioned herself as the person who understands this form of medium. Bill Belichick has been open for at least a better part of a decade, if not more, that he doesn't do social media. Yeah. This is a time that your social media stock really can help push you in business. So she's probably positioned herself in a way that says, you go over there and do football. I'm going to do the rest of this. But, oh, you know what? I made you this much money. So now I feel like I'm entitled to this much. It's a pathway. I'm not mad at her. She has a plan and she's executing it well. And to your point, can I be mad at her for doing that when Bill Belichick is an able-bodied grown-up?
You made the connection and comparison to Shannon Sharpe and his then 19-year-old girlfriend. I say girlfriend because there was some degree of relationship. It wasn't like it was just, hey, I'll only see you when I happen to be in town and so forth. There was some relationship. The difference is, I would say, is Shannon Sharpe is accused of a crime in a civil litigation that Bill Belichick is not. Outside of that, do you have any problem with these May-December romances?
I mean, yes, because for me now it's tricky because again, I think both of these women had a plan. I understand that one has presented, she's accusing, Shannon Sharpe. I get that, but it's Tony Busby. This isn't our first rodeo with seeing something like this. Tony Busby is the attorney that helped bring that.
But it's more than one woman with Shannon Sharpe, and yes. The other woman, Michelle Evans, have to call her by name because her name is now out there, is not represented by Tony Busby.
Right, but Michelle Okay, I'm gonna leave Michelle alone because there's things that I know about that case. We'll leave that alone. We'll leave that.
You
we'll
mentioned
leave that
Tony
alone.
Busby, so I was responding to Tony Busby.
But I think with these men specifically, and Shannon Sharp kind of shot himself in the foot too. He said that he doesn't want to date older women because older women want to be independent and take care of themselves. So he wanted a woman who
it's a measure of control.
Exactly. So then when you put yourself in these positions, and I know I sound like my dad right now, but if you put yourself in a position and you're old enough to understand where this could lead and you do it anyway, who's really supposed to feel sorry for you?
I don't think anyone's supposed to feel sorry for anyone in either of these scenarios. If it turns out that Jordan Hudson is only there for Bill Belichick's stature, fame, and propelling her own career, that consenting adults works both ways, the good and bad.
Right.
If it works out, if Bill Belichick said, look, she's fine. I will never get a woman like that again in my life. Because let me just speak for men. We are very visual creatures.
Absolutely.
All right. And the idea of being 72 and a 24-year-old putting it on us, yeah, that probably appeals to a lot of folks, especially if it's on your terms. I don't believe they'll ever get married.
But contrary to popular belief, women too are very visual creatures. So the things you have to shut out to be in this situation.
Paper bag, huh?
Look, you can't do that because that'll impede your plan. It's all about the illusion. You have to present that you are in love. You think he is the cat's meow. You couldn't have survived this life without him.
It's different. Fellas, I'm going to invoke the fellas, Twala, if you're around, Daniel too. Stefan, there's an old saying that some guys have, and I swear by. And I can't say it on the air, but I'll allude to it. It's called D, don't lie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I can't, if I'm not into someone, D, don't lie. I can't fake it. I can't imagine some scenario. I can't say, oh, it's actually Halle Berry instead.
But we can. Do you see what I'm saying? We can fake it. You understand?
I guess so.
Yeah, coming from
Stefan, save me.
Yeah, coming from your perspective, Mo, what she means is, like they can have that perspective of someone else or something else because they're visual, but they can also work on just mental, like, stimulation.
Here's the difference between men and women. There could be a woman who is sitting at a bus stop who has
on a lollipop,
who has no job, no future, no real aspirations. If she is very attractive, there's always a man who's willing to say, I can turn her into something. Or, I want to hear her story because she is fine as frog legs. That's just who we are. That's just how we are. Come get some of this, Twala. Get on the mic.
But on the flip side,
get on the mic. Hold on a second.
Twala's like, I got
Twala needs his piece of this.
He's standing at the mic. Twala's like, hold the phone. Hold the phone.
Hold my beer.
You're on.
Okay. Yes. If she is at that bus stop and she is looking fly as all get out, we will stop and say, hey, do you need a ride, young lady? And if she says, yeah, I do, and her breath smells like poo, D, don't lie. We will say, you know what? I hope that ride comes for you soon.
Damn.
You funky mouth monster.
Okay,
we won't play.
But that's where you draw the line. I remember days where it's like, okay, I could buy her a toothbrush.
And there I know I know plenty of dudes who will say, hey, she's a butterface. Absolutely.
Explain Butterface for those who don't know.
Every single thing about her is fine Butterface. Okay? Absolutely. There's some things that we will absolutely put up with. But in this situation, y'all are actually both right because both people are coming at it from the exact position that you are talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Belichick is like, look, man, this one right here, she puts it on me. All she needs is a little check. I'll be her sugar daddy. Fine. And she's like, look.
We can turn off the lights. It's fine.
Turn off the
His
lights.
kids are not down for this at all.
Oh, no. She's younger than some of his kids.
Yes.
No, all of his kids. She's younger than all of his kids.
I thought he had one that was the same age.
No, I think all of them, if I'm not mistaken.
All of
his kids are in his 30s, I think. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'd disown my daddy if that was the case.
But I would understand your daddy if that was the case. it's like I wouldn't do it, but I understand. That's okay because men are just
okay, but at the same time, Twala, you have a daughter.
Yep.
If she ended up with a 72-year-old man,
he would kill him. I answer for him. He would kill that man.
At that point, the 72-year-old people say like, Twala, well, now you know for a fact you would have beat him to death. Why did you start hitting him and not stop? Now he's dead. Now what?
You go to jail.
Yeah.
See?
I mean,
So where's her
these are
daddy
all
at?
facts.
Where's her daddy at?
Probably getting a percentage. I don't know.
Oh, man, daddy's got her on the stroll like that.
Oh,
Look,
no.
you have two consenting adults, and everyone is aware of what's going on and the dimensions, and the two people who are involved with each other are okay with it. That's why I don't have an issue with it. It's not for me, but I understand why it would be for them.
I think with Belichick specifically, though, we've seen this a million times. It's a tale as old as time. We will see it a million times more before we are called from this plane. I think the problem that everyone is having with Bill Belichick is it seems like there's a clear manipulation happening by her.
Okay.
On to him. And then because of his age, I'm not saying it's true, but because of his age, then you have to wonder, is he 100% mentally there when he's allowing this woman to tell CBS, no, we're not going to talk about that, while she sends him onto the screen with a hole in his shirt?
I
Kind of
haven't,
like Anna Nicole Smith.
Right.
kind of, but I haven't seen anything publicly which would suggest to me that he is cognitively slipping, if only because he is actively working as the coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels football program, where there would be other indicators along
We've had
those
people in Congress work that were.
No. I'm
I'm
with
just
you on that,
saying.
but I'm saying when there's so much money riding on a program, I think it's a little bit more difficult to hide.
But what if it's just name
That's
alone
exactly what I was gonna
that
say.
he's connected to the program? They got the name Belichick, but they have other people calling the calls because they want to have that prestige come to the university.
Well,
Colorado.
we'll find
said,
out.
We'll find the money for Deion. They
Yeah.
didn't even have, it was the name Deion Sanders that they wanted before they even had the money to pay him. So I think Belichick carries the same weight with his name.
I'm just not going to impugn his cognitive ability until I see something. And since we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, I could say Joe Biden. I can point to that.
Right.
I can point to this, Donald Trump. That answer you gave over here, talking about this, that, and the other, I can point to that. I can't say that about Bill Belichick as of yet. That's
So
all I'm
he's
saying.
just desperate.
No, I'm just saying he's 72. It's like, this is my last shot at,
But okay,
That's
so
wow.
But
I
to be
mean,
on a national
strong like
stage
bull.
with CBS and have this little girl over here say, "No, we're not going." That didn't make you cringe a little bit.
No, it made me cringe. We got to go to break, but I will say this. It made me cringe, but it's not like his own family. They don't have their own ability to speak out publicly. And they have not, as of yet, spoken out saying that she is manipulating him and she has taken advantage of him because he is not cognitively
Right.
where he needs to be.
Right.
It's later with Mo Kelly talking with Jackie Ray. We'll talk about the Pope and his Chicago White Sox fandom in just a moment.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube, and the chat is out of control. The Instagram live chat is out of control. Everybody's telling their business about who they would date under what circumstances, whether they could get the lights dark enough. I mean, it was just, what is too ugly? What is too far?
They're all telling on themselves.
Oh, they're telling all their business about who they would. And by the way, Mark Ronner has an official fan club
Yes.
in the YouTube chat.
What's
no
going on now?
exaggeration.
What's
They-
happening?
Look, they love the mood light that you have on in the news.
I look better in the dark, always.
Oh, well, they're
Ooh,
imagining
now
some
you-
stuff
now
in the
look,
dark.
I
okay?
can't wait to see the next comments that come up. Now
Oh,
that you
yeah.
said that.
Mark, I'm telling you,
I look even better if everybody's got a bag on their head. Everybody.
Mark, they are here for you. They're not
Yep.
even here for the show. They're here for you.
They said as long as you're here, they're here.
The first time, I think it's the first time that people actually are looking forward to the commercials.
Well, just wait till I start doing one-arm push-ups.
Oh, they asked you, when are you going to
Yeah.
do them?
Yeah,
They've
they
already
said-
asked you.
They were like, Mark's next.
Yes, Mark, your turn.
With a whole chant. Mark.
I don't really feel the need to put on such displays.
No, now you're above it.
Well, although it is really fun to egg you on. I love doing that.
Yeah, she might as well watch the show. We're live on YouTube. You don't know what you might see. Jackie Ray, let me come back to you. We were really over in the last break, so this is going to be a little bit shorter. But what do you make of Pope Leo the 14th and his fandom, given that he's a Chicago kid, he's a Villanova grad, he's a Chicago White Sox fan, he's very much a dude
Right.
in that regard. But He loves the Chicago White Sox. There's even video of him at the World Series in 2005.
Yeah, whoever found that video needs a raise, because how would you even know that video existed in 2005? Like, where did your mind go? Like, oh, I remember once upon a time. Like, who does
even
that?
if you knew that, he said he had gone to the
Right.
game. How are you going to find him?
Yeah. So I'm not a huge baseball person, so I really could care less about this. But what I do like is knowing that he is a fan's fan. Like, all fans can relate to him and his fandom. And I think for a lot of people, that's just it speaks to him being an American guy. Whether you're a fan of the same team or not, it just speaks to that, because I'm not Catholic. So I really, right. it doesn't faze me either way on who the next pope was. I've never read more about a pope in my entire life until I saw this headline that he is a sports fan. He's a Chicago fan. And then I saw the video and I was like, oh my God, let me go learn more about him. So it just makes him more relatable, I think, especially to those of us here in America, and we just see popes from everywhere else. So I think it's a great look for the Vatican.
I look at it as a news story, as a piece of interesting, trivia, because I'm, like you, am not Catholic, and I look at the Pope as the head of the church.
Right.
Even though there are some political overtones and undertones to some things a Pope may say. I talked about this last week, how people on the right and left were losing their ever-loving minds about, well, he's too woke, or he needs to be this about Israel and Gaza, or he's a homophobe. I mean, I'm literally, he's
people
a Marxist.
People who've never read the Bible, you mean?
I said exactly that. But beyond that, they want to shape the Pope into their political god, for lack of another phrase. And that disappointed me, because those individuals weren't even Catholic.
Right.
They wanted the Pope to come down on a certain political side. And it's like, you've missed the point.
Right.
And the point wasn't even meant for you as a non-Catholic.
Yeah. And they forgot, Jesus is flipping over tables in the synagogue and all that. But you know what? Everybody got their thing. But for me, I think what makes this more inviting is because he does seem like he is just a normal guy. And I think normal people don't do a lot of what we're seeing in this country right now. I think normal people who care about other people, who operate in humanity and empathy, it just made him more relatable. So it made me want to keep an eye on what he does, because otherwise they would have announced a pope, and I would sit here before you today and not know the name of that pope.
Yeah, it could have been Pope John Paul XVII,
right,
who might have been from, I don't know, Italy,
right,
as most of the popes had been until 1978, and it may not have impacted my daily life. Am I a little more intrigued? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm intrigued at the prospect of an American pope, or a pope who hails from America, who doesn't only speak English, didn't only live in the United States, and it has a much more worldly view, or I should say a fulsome view of the world,
right, than
most Americans.
Yeah, and whether it'll happen or not, I would be over the moon and would probably go to that game if he comes to, and goes to the game.
I don't think a pope is going to another game in his life.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean, I would like to be able to see the Pope Mobile again.
Oh, that'd be fun.
But I don't think it's going to pull up to, somewhere in Chicago on like Michigan Avenue.
Wait, I don't think that. Has a Pope ever thrown out a first pitch before?
I don't think so.
We got to see that.
I don't think so. I don't think that they would allow the Pope in such an open setting. I'm being very serious.
For safety reasons.
I'm old enough to remember when they tried to kill the Pope.
Yeah.
Tried to assassinate him.
I remember that. When was that? What Pope was that?
I can't. Was it Pope John Paul they tried to assassinate? Not to look it up.
I get confused between JP1 and JP2.
Right.
I think it was the second.
Pope
how many John Pauls have there been?
Two. Because there's John Paul II. Yeah. Okay. On May 13th. Oh gosh.
What?
Tomorrow.
Oh,
it's a commemoration. Oh wow. May 13th, 1981. Pope John Paul II was shot by Mehmet Ali Akra in St. Peter's Square while he was entering the square.
Shut up.
A Turkish national was later convicted and sentenced to life in prison. Despite the wounds, the Pope survived and later forgave his attacker.
And that's so that was before he was in the bulletproof thing?
Yes. Yes. That had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do remember it.
I remember that.
Just being in school. And it's like, who? And I literally said, I remember my teacher got mad at me. I said, who the hell would want to shoot the Pope?
Right. The people from him.
And I was like, sorry. I'm just saying, Never mind.
So yeah, no, but I'm excited for what this means for just people in general. I say this all the time, and I always find weird reasons to say this. If this inspires people to read more and learn more and broaden their horizons about the world, this is a fantastic thing.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. You got the last word on that one, Jackie Ray. Always good to see you.
Great to see you.
We're live everywhere in the iHeartRadio app. When we come back, we have more Pope information. As one of his first pronouncements, he laid out AI as one of the chief challenges confronting the world today. We'll talk about that and how AI could possibly translate animal sounds into words. Word? Word.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Well, it's Later with Mo Kelly on KFI AM 640.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, and we're live on Instagram, and we're live on YouTube, and we're not going to stop there. I don't want to get ahead of what Daniel has in store for us, but we're going to be live in a number of other places. Last segment, I was talking to Jackie Ray about Pope Leo XIV, his history as a sports fan, the present, how he is talking about issues as he sees them and their importance to the world, not just necessarily the United States, but the world. And I always say, and I've said a number of times, travel changes you. See the world. You will look at the world through a completely different lens. You will look at issues completely differently, and instead of just relegating it to whatever your pet politics are of the moment in a particular election cycle. But Pope Leo XIV, and this is actually something I want to broaden out for just the later crew. Pope Leo XIV yesterday identified artificial intelligence, Mark Ronner, and I know I want your response to this, artificial intelligence as one of the most critical matters, not facing labor, not facing America, but facing humanity. Is that hyperbole, or is there something truthful about that?
I don't know. I think this new pope may be onto something. Somebody made a point over the weekend that I thought was really important, which is that among all the other things we know about AI and how bad it is for the environment, the energy it sucks up, and how most people don't want or need it, but it's being forced upon us. Also, it gets us out of the habit of critical thinking for ourselves. It's making us notably dumber.
It may be all those things.
Your brain's a muscle.
It is a muscle.
And you've got to, there's a reason why, say, aging people are told to do crossword puzzles, things like this. One thing AI does is relieve you of the burden of critical thinking, which you need to stay sharp.
I don't use AI for anything which is information generating. In other words, I'll use my AI as far as my GPS, far as my calendar, as far as integrating my email with my other services. In other words, hopefully AI is working for me and I'm not requiring it to inform me. I'm not asking AI, hey, can you write me a book? Hey, AI, can you do this for me?
Right. Yeah. And I keep on reading over and over and over again about professors in colleges who are getting papers that have been generated by AI because the students don't want to actually do the work. It's like, why are you there? Who are you helping with this? What is college to you? I mean, is it education? Is it just certification to get some job down the line? You're wasting everybody's time.
I don't know if I can speak for students today. I think this generation is so very different from me and you and our approach when we went to school. The only real aids that we had were calculators and Cliff Notes. I'm being serious. That's about it.
And Lincoln Logs and,
because
and snow in the winter.
No, but we didn't even have the internet, so I'm not exaggerating.
No, you're right. You're right. All that stuff, it builds up your brain. And I desperately needed college. I mean, I grew up without a father and had kind of a weird childhood. And so I was happy for the regimentation in college, and I wanted an education to become more of a person. There's a reason why they call the humanities. They make you human. They're not worthless liberal arts degrees. They teach you how to live in the world and treat other people and see things from more than just your point of view, tying into what you, Mo, said about traveling.
You will not have the same view of the world the moment you actually see the world. Unfortunately, I run into so many people who not only have never left the continental United States, have no desire to leave the continental United States.
That's insane. And you're echoing what Mark Twain said. The best solution to prejudice is getting out of your own backyard, travel.
Right. And my whole concept of immigration, to be specific, in immigration reform, changed fundamentally when I spent some time in Spain. I want to say like 3-4 weeks in Spain. And you are then thrown into a situation where English is not the first, second, or third language.
But Americans sure expected to be. And there was a line last week about this new pope that caught my attention as the most backhanded compliment. Somebody, and I forget the context.
I know what you're going to say, but go ahead.
Yeah, I forget the context of this. And if anybody wants to remind us, we could use it, which is that they didn't immediately consider the pope to be very American because of how quiet and thoughtful he was, which implies their perception of us is the exact opposite of that. A bunch of loudmouth idiots.
I saw something else which also said they're surprised that he was an American because he could speak more than one language.
That's true too.
And had traveled the world.
Yeah.
So I don't know if artificial intelligence, to go back to the peg of the segment, is the most critical matter facing humanity, but I do know it's going to have a role in shaping the future of humanity. And it's going to have a say. It's going to be at the table. I don't know if it's going to be at the head of the table, but it'll definitely be there with his imprimatur, as they say.
I think unless you are one of the really small handful of people who stand to profit from this, we have to push back.
Well, here's something you may want to push back against, Mark. A Chinese tech company has revealed it is exploring whether it is possible to use AI to translate animal sounds into human language. You
didn't see the conversation I had with the neighbor cat on the fence a couple nights ago, did you?
No. Was profanity involved?
I didn't need any AI for that. I needed
the cat understood you, right?
A couple treats and we were good.
Baidu, B-A-I-D-U, the owner of China's largest search engine, has filed a patent with the China National Intellectual Property Administration. The plans were revealed in a patent document published last week. The patent is for a system that collects animal data like vocal sounds, behavior, and physiological signals. I don't know if this could work, if only because that presupposes that there is a language or a lexicon as opposed to just movements, grunts, and what have you.
Listen, how hard is a dog to read in the first place? How much of a dope do you have to be not to be able to understand what your dog is trying to communicate with you in the moment? It's a short list.
What? You fell in the well? I need to call for help?
Lassie, what's going on, Lassie?
I don't know. But, once again, AI is going to have a say. Wait a minute.
Timing's everything, Foosh.
You're saying the girlfriend is how young?
There's no victims in the situation, Lassie? Is that what you're saying?
She's a gold digger?
He just wants to bury a bone? You can relate to that, Lassie? Come on, Foosh. Thank you.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. KFI, iHeartRadio, YouTube, Instagram, all live.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
It's Later with Mo Kelly. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Instagram. And we're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Let's look at your weekly horoscope for this Chinese zodiac and how it applies to you. Weekly horoscope for the rats out there. That's 1948, 1960, 72, 84, 96, 2008, 2020. And we'll have the YouTube back up in just a second. Rat, this week, the pressure to make a quick decision weighs on you. But the calmness coming from impatience will drive you away from peace. Never rush to just please others or to meet a deadline. As soon as you step back, the answer will illuminate itself. Your intelligent brain can only work calmly. The calm feeling of relief will help you refrain from forcing a choice. From now on, trust that wisdom of yours and pace yourself. And this is for oxen out there. That's 1949, 61, 73, 85, 97, 2009, 2021.
I'm an ox.
You're an ox?
I am an ox.
Okay. If this is a week where your ideas are not flowing or you feel bound to move forward, here is a way out for you. Through the others. A little small talk, a shared task, or a joint effort may break the wall of your creative block. You are the strongest on your own, but there is magic in togetherness. Be open to another's viewpoint. They might see what you miss. Even a minor suggestion from a friend or fellow worker can help things flow for you again. Have faith in teamwork and in shared joy. Tigers are up next. That's 1950, 62, 74, 86, 98, 2010, and 2022. Your courageous nature likes to take action, but this week demands that you take a fresh look at the financial side of your life. A change in values and priorities can bring a better balance in return. Maybe you've been putting money toward trivial short-term pleasures, like happy endings, and turned a blind eye to long-term goals. The present moment is the best time to generally view your money objectively, unburdened by emotion. Cut those expenses.
Happy endings. Wait, what?
Oh, well, that's what I thought they meant. So I just said that in. Rabbits. That's 51, 63, 75, 87, 99, 2011, and 2023. Y'all are rabbits. Rabbit this week emerges quietly, offering healing within. Should you manage to carve out time for introspection, perhaps you'll identify buried or overlooked feelings. Don't fear what you feel. These moments are hidden gifts. Several minutes of self-reflective thought might open up your hearts in ways you have never experienced before. Now for dragons. This is 1940, 1952, 64, 76, 88, 2000, 2012, 2024. If you haven't figured it out, it's every 12 years for each.
Me.
Oh, you're a dragon?
I'm a dragon.
Okay. Dear Dragon Stefan, this week, a strong urge is coming up for you to say something which has been kept inside for far too long. Strong spirits often hide pain behind pride, but now is the time to let that out. There's a certain power in healing through the simple act of speaking one's truth, even if it be just once to that special imaginary friend of yours. What is worth bearing in your heart is your trust in that voice. Unspoken words become feelings of heaviness, where once spoken, they become light. Trust your words.
Let it all out, Foosh.
So I guess I got to speak up.
Foosh, you were born in 2000?
88.
Snakes. 1941, 53, 65, 77, 89, 2001, and 2013. Snake, a silent or quiet moment could unfold this week between you and someone close to you. This silence is certainly not any form of distancing. Sometimes it is just what both of you need to take a step back and allow the big picture to come into view. When words are lost, feelings grow strong. Instead of rushing to patch things up, just hang on through the pause. Soon you will feel clarity arise from atop the stillness. Horses. Y'all are next. That's 42, 54, 66, 78, 1990, 2002, 2014. This week, tension may build, horses, between your plans and expected results, but the search for balance will not exist by changing tracks. It will come by altering how you perceive it. Release the beauty of having to accomplish everything in a rush. You have a worthy plan, but sometimes an expectation can weigh too heavily on a person. Once you accept the journey of living as it is, peace follows. For goats, 43, 55, 67, 79, 91, 2003, and 2015. Something from the past may come into your thoughts this week, a pastime, idea, or interest long gone. Pay attention, for it may allude to a hidden talent you mortally abandon. You tend to disregard your own gifts, but such a tiny spark can lead to a much bigger fire. Try again, but through fresh eyes and a calm heart. There is no need for perfection. Just enjoy the feeling. Monkeys out there. This is 44, 56, 68, 80, 92, 2004, and 2016. A fresh soul may enter your space this week with a new breeze of change in the rhythms of your day-to-day life. You adore change, and this will feel like a breath of fresh air. This face will either inspire, guide, or remind you to view life through different shades of eyes. Do not hold back from connecting. Between your charm and brilliance lies the potential to build something good. Welcome what you know not with open arms, from complacency to opportunity. Sometimes just the right person appears at the right moment, just to help in the growth we never planned. And this is mine, Rooster. Shut up, Mark. 45, 57, 69, 81, 93, 20, 2005, and 2017. I had to beat you there, all right? Depending on your intent and how conscious you are of involving your will in your achievement, you are strongly driven this week to achieve it. Then the question becomes, will your patience be put to the test this week? Not everything has to be rushed. If something feels slow or seemingly delayed, do not panic. This is a pause. It is not a failure. Real progress comes when you just stop pushing and start flowing. The seeds you planted are taking root, and the results will soon be visible. And lastly, dogs. 46, 58, 70, 82, 94, 2006, and 2018. I think this is you, Mark.
Thank you.
The decision you have been putting off may come down firmly in front of you. This week allows you very little room to simply avoid it. But that's a blessing. Your loyal and careful nature wants only to do right. And now is the time to do it. Step 1, think clearly. Step 2, listen to your heart or inner truth, whatever. And 3, take the step. Even if you feel that this movement is heavy, you will realize the relief from this action will be surprising. Oh, I'm sorry, there is one more. There's the pig. All right, porkers out there. All right. Something from your past may have a second chance into your pathway this week. This is 47, 59, 71, 83, 95, 2007, and 2019. A memory, a project, maybe even a sack full of a relationship that was once essential to you. Do not exert yourself to push it away. There is angelic healing and power in what is returned now. Coming to terms with it through today's lens might enable you to perceive its actual worth. Restoration is not suggested to be backwards, but forward with wisdom. And there is your Chinese zodiac horoscope for this week. And it probably means absolutely nothing.
It means everything.
It's later with Mo Kelly. That's what it means. We're live everywhere on YouTube and Instagram and the iHeartRadio app.
Talk without the tilt.
KFI.
KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere.